Let me show you quickly on the bench top again how the main lift cylinder is mounted in the top's frame. There's a front mounting pin and a rear mounting pin, meaning the blunt end of the cylinder actually sticks forward. What you're looking at now is pretty much the top view that you would have as you're working on the cylinder. So there is a rear pin that's an 8mm diameter pin that has a 6mm groove in it for a circlip, and just in case you lose the circlip, it's an M6 metric 6 or imperial 1/4 inch circlip, E-clip, C-clip, all the same thing would work on here. Then on the other side in the rear is a 10mm mounting pin with what I would call a bayonet clip. And that bayonet clip has an easy trick to removing it. Let me show you that one first because it's so easy. So it's kind of a fancy clip, not completely fastened. Here it is the way it would be closed in the car. And all you have to do is get a medium small screwdriver, maybe 1/4 inch. Walk it in here so that the clip is slightly open. You don't want to bend it open, just walk the screwdriver in here far enough until you can simply pull the clip out of place. And later on, to reinstall, of course, you only have to slide the clip on there and it's in place. If you damage or lose this clip, this is a 10mm pin and a plain 8mm M8 circlip or E-clip will do the trick. Now let's go to the slightly trickier one in the front. This is a C-clip. Now I have it slightly raised off the center of the pin just so that I can show you how one would normally remove these clips. You just slide a small screwdriver into one of the two gaps and walk it up. But there isn't enough room in the car to get a tool in there like this. You'll see that in a moment when we show you in the car. Actually, what we do is turn this clip. We turn and turn and turn until both openings face up, and at that point you'll see in the car we'll be pushing 2 screwdrivers at the same time, and this clip comes off easily. So here we're looking at the left side main lift cylinder. You see hose number 31, number 33. On the right side it would be hoses 20 and 22. I'm going to show you how to get the mounting pins out. Now one thing we want to get out of the way is this wire. On the left side here there's 1 wire. On the right side there's 3 wires in the same place. You just cut the zip tie. I've cut it already, so now I'm just pulling it out of the way. Get the wire out of the way, and we now get a somewhat clear view onto the circlip that I showed you earlier on this front mounting pin. We turn the clip patiently, applying some friction here. If the clip won't turn on you, then you may need to lever this pin a little bit so that there's no tension on the clip. And with the screwdriver, just push on top and keep trying to turn the pin until both keep trying to turn the clip, until both ends of the circlip stick up. Now we put 2 screwdrivers on both ends at the same time and push down slowly. The clip will fall down and you can retrieve that clip once the cylinder is out of the way. So let's see how this works out. There we go. Clip is already over the dead spot, and I got lucky. My screwdriver is a little magnetized just from being used, so the clip actually stuck to it. I'll put that in a safe place. Now I only need to get the pin out, and this mounting pin needs to be pushed out fairly far. You can see there's a gap that it can slide through, and let's just take it out all the way. Now we can pull the rear end of the cylinder up, and we can move on to the other end. And obviously the installation of the freshly rebuilt cylinder from Top Hydraulics is reverse. You first hook up the far end and then you put the pin in here. So let me actually just demonstrate the reinstallation without putting the new cylinder in. One thing, I just have to say this, it's so cool the way Top Hydraulics makes the lines removable on these cylinders. It's really important to get the port seals replaced on these cylinders because they will eventually leak. So in order to do that, we mill around these crimps and then take out the port seal, meaning the swivel seal that seals the hose to the cylinder, and replace it with a much better one. Then fasten the whole thing with a laser cut stainless steel clip. Super elegant. I love it. Anyway, having said that, we're going to reinstall this cylinder. So let me put the pin back in, and here we go. Wiggle the cylinder until the pin fits. Now it's in all the way. The big trick, that's why I'm trying to show you this in the same frame right now. Not a super big trick, but what tends to help is putting a dab of grease onto the surface on which the circlip will be sliding. That's not to make it easier to slide, but it is to make the pin, not the pin, the clip, stay in place so it doesn't go flying that easily. What I like to do is just have a very slow controlled motion. Put my clip on the screwdriver again, you see how it's still magnetic, and then go down here slowly so that the clip finds its groove, and zip, it's in place. Ta-da! Here's the rear pin with the bayonet style clip I showed you earlier. I just put my screwdriver in there and pull it off. Now all I need to do is pull this pin out and remove my cylinder. Here it goes. Now there is one zip tie over here that you'll need to cut. No need to taking extra shot of that. That'll be self-explanatory once you get there for the hose routing. And the very important part to show you is do not accidentally connect only one of these two arms from the top frame, but both at the same time into your rebuilt cylinder. I will quickly cut this zip tie, and then I'll put the new cylinder in so you can witness the big moment as the old cylinder is pulled out. We put in the new one already. Now I already showed you a moment ago how the front pin was installed again. What I'm doing right now is taking the dust caps off my hoses because I need to extend the shaft on the cylinder. Sorry, I can't see that. Don't want to switch camera frames all the time here. So here you see I just extended the shaft on the freshly rebuilt cylinder, and now I line this up with the brackets from the top. I also straightened out the hoses while we were at it, and let's see, bracket number 1, bracket number 2, slide them in here, pick up my pin from the floor, excuse my arm being in the way, oops. One, two, and we put the clip back on in place. Both brackets in here, otherwise you'll bend the shaft on the cylinder and the top will come crashing down on you. And install the front pin and then route these wires back to the pump. Not the wires, excuse me, these hoses back to the pump. And remember to reinstall or re-zip tie the one wire that where we cut the zip tie earlier. So there we go, it's really easy. I'll show you the routing of the hoses towards the pump in a moment. So let me show you the rest of the routing of the hoses for the main lift cylinder. I'm showing you for the left side, it's identical on the right side. I think I counted 8 zip ties, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I missed one here somewhere. In any case, here's already the new hoses that I pulled forward from when I replaced the main lift cylinder. And we can pick up from here, cut a few zip ties, and unravel things here. Ah, there's the 8th one that I didn't count before. Here we go. We unravel the foam around this harness. Sorry, it's not perfect anymore, but it wasn't really meant to look perfect. This foam is only meant to keep things from rattling and rubbing. The foam kind of sticks together here. Missed another zip tie, that would be number 9. And I just keep unwrapping this foam and making my way towards the pump. Once I have all these zip ties undone, I'll route the new hoses next to the old ones. Kind of makes it easier to remember. So let's pull the 2 new hoses next to the 2 old ones. On the main lift cylinders and on the front lock cylinders, the hoses are coming with a cylinder. On the trunk lid cylinders, as you may have seen already in the trunk lid cylinder removal video, the hoses actually stay in the car because they are already from the factory removable at the cylinder. On the main lift and on the front lock cylinder, it doesn't really make sense to do anything like couplers or the like, because routing these hoses is easy enough. So we have lines 31 and line 33. Let's see where they are. We have 31 in the far corner here, and we have line 33 opposite it, off the same hose retaining plate. Now there's going to be a little bit of shuffling of fittings around as I unscrew 2 bolts here with a 3mm Allen wrench. Hang on for a second while I get that wrench. So normally, frankly, one would remove all hoses from the pump and then later put them all back on at the same time. I just wanted to show you in this one example. I'll remove the 2 bolts from the pump. You'll see the numbers engraved on the pump, 31 and 33. So what you need to do is remove these 2 Allen bolts for these particular 2 hoses, and then slide the retaining plate out of the way so that the hoses can be pulled up. Here we go, the bolts are out. The plate can simply be slid back. I can take out one hose at a time. For example, here hose number 31, and here hose number 33. I'll lever this up a little bit, it comes out easily. There we go. And we put the new hoses back in. Number 31 and number 33. Put our plate back on and the couple bolts. Oops. And don't drop the bolt. Here we go. I'll put that in my wrench and fasten at number 1, number 2. There we go. We make it good hand tight. You'll get a good feel for how tight this should be. And those hoses have been replaced. Now we just need to pull the old hoses out and put our foam around and roughly remember where the zip ties were and tie everything up again.